My name is Lauren Roy, and I am doing this video as part of a GoFundMe campaign so that I can raise money to have a clinical discussion um, done by my core doctors, my general practitioner, my cardiologist, my rheumatologist, and my neurologist. The reason why I want this clinical discussion is because I need to be treated holistically in a way of getting me the best quality of life right now, um, because I'm not well. It's hard doing this thing. Um, Backstory: when I was 12, I was diagnosed with scoliosis. I had a 30-degree curve. The orthopedic doctor that I was seeing sent us to a scoliosis specialist. He thought I was faking it, and for 2 years he thought I was faking it. Then I ended up with a bursitis in the end of my spine. He thought I was faking that as well. So my mother took me back to the original orthopedic doctor, who was like, "Why isn't she in the back brace?" You know, I said 2 years ago to put her in the back brace. By that time, my spine had the degrees had gone from 30 to 76. It was like an S. Once it's over 50 is a huge problem. So he put me in the back brace at 14. And I was in it 24 hours a day for 2.5 years. Now they don't even brace people. And if they do have to, they do it for no more than 16 hours a day. There are studies out there that have linked being in the back brace to hormonal issues and to dysautonomia, which is what I have ultimately, after 40 years, been finally diagnosed with. I've been saying since I was in the back brace that this is why I'm ill, because it started 2.5 months after I got out of the back brace. I started having swelling in my hands and feet, pain in my knees, fatigue, and they tested me for everything: lupus, rheumatoid arthritis, everything. And they couldn't come up with any diagnosis at all. A couple years after that, I was diagnosed with fibrositis and told there's nothing they can do about it. And thus started my odyssey. I also, in the interim, had thyroid cancer and radiation therapy. During this time, I was just sort of getting worse with the fatigue, and I was basically in bed any moment. I wasn't caring for my children and my daycare children. And ultimately, I had to give up the daycare because I wasn't doing anything but keeping everybody alive for, 8 hours a day. I've seen over 50 doctors. I spent 4 months waiting for an appointment with the head of rheumatology at Leahy Clinic. And when I got there, he gave me a breast exam, offered me an internal while telling me that I was a bored housewife who was using her pain as my hobby. Well, that was so Victorian to me. I was pretty pissed, and I jumped off the table, whipped off the Johnny, got dressed, and just walked out of there hollering. It was so violating. I've been to doctors who had me on so many drugs that when I moved and I had to start a new doctor, he was like, "I can't put you on all of this medication. The DEA would be all over me." And I had to get me off of everything. It's just, there's been absolutely nothing short of a you-know-what show. No one knows what to do with me. No one had any idea, how to treat something they couldn't even name. I went the whole rheumatology direction, and they had me on all sorts of antidepressants, trying to use that whole serotonin uptake, blah, blah, blah. And they didn't work because that wasn't my problem. They got mad at me because I wouldn't go on Lyrica and I wouldn't go on gabapentin because Lyrica doesn't have any longevity, and gabapentin, I'm not having seizures. And again, I didn't want to go on something that was going to color what I was going through, because I wanted them to find out what I was going through and not to just treat me symptomatically. So after going to a pain specialist, and the first time I saw him and I filled out his 12-page questionnaire, he poked his head in the door and said to me that he couldn't help me. But he wanted me to go to Framingham because they could give me fentanyl. And I was like, why don't I just go find the nearest guy selling heroin and cut out the middleman? I forgot that I went to him again. And halfway through the appointment, I remembered where I was and, how it ended the last time. And I was just mortified that I was so desperate that my brain just wasn't working correctly. And so after that, I just said, you know what, I'm going to find out who's doing research into fibromyalgia, and that's where I'm going. I don't care where it goes. I don't care how long it takes for me to get there. I'm going. Well, as luck would have it, there was someone doing research at Mass General, and I went to her, and she was an absolutely vile human being who should not be allowed to talk to actual patients. She's very cruel, and was just mean, and at one point was saying to me, doing this, cause you're, and I said, difficult? She goes, yes, I've seen the light. I had to put up with her because she was doing different tests than anybody else had done. And at the end of the day, as horrible a person as she was, she did give me the diagnosis of dysautonomia and small fiber polyneuropathy. Dysautonomia is when your automatic functions, the things that are automatic, your heart rate, your temperature, your blood pressure, things that your body, your central nervous system controls, they go haywire. And because I went into the back brace at 14, which is the start of that huge pivotal growth spurt that kids go through, hormones are changing and your organs are finishing their development. And instead of going in it from 12 to 14, I went in it at 14, and I was in it until I was 17. And that put me right in that pivotal growth part. Not only was my back getting squashed and yanked back into being straight, my organs were trying to grow while they were squished together in this plastic brace. And studies have shown that your body needs to have that resistance of each other, of the organs, resisting on each other in order to grow and form properly. And mine didn't do that because they were all squished in one spot. Your organs don't grow properly, they're not going to function properly. There are a couple of studies out there. If I'm able to, I will put the links on my little discussion-y thing. And so that has given me the diagnosis that I've been saying for 40 years. It has something to do with being in the back brace. Absolutely has something to do with being in the back brace, but it's cold comfort, because the caveat is there's nothing they can do about it. Every single solitary thing that is wrong with me comes with the caveat that there's nothing they can do about it. They can only try and support the things going haywire, and they can only try to give me some sort of modium of pain relief. But in the last year, I have gone from test to test to test, and each test would come back negative, but they'd find something else. I went and had what everybody was like, oh, that's the gold standard of cardiac tests. I had a nuclear stress test done, and the result said at the beginning, the left part of my heart was dead, and at the end of the report said there was nothing wrong with me. And in a Zoom meeting with my GP, we were both reading it, and we were both like, this is crazy. Which one is it? Based on that report, they decided to do a cardiac catheterization. When I woke up from that, the nurse said to me, good news, there's nothing wrong with you. And I was like, how is that good news? what does that mean? I mean, I just sat my kids down and told them that the left part of mommy's heart was dead. And you're telling me that Miss Frizzle drove her camera through my heart and there's nothing wrong with it? How is that possible? Come to find out there was a transcription error. And when I said, okay, so you based it on the heart is dead part of the transcription, and not the nothing wrong with me part, I think that should be repeated. They said no. They hooked me up with a second opinion who said to me, literally, "You're so anxious. Look at how anxious you are." And I was like, yeah, you know what? The ironic thing is, the only place I'm getting this anxious is when I'm in front of a cardiologist, and not because I'm just nervous. So I have to have these people get together. I have to have them treat me holistically. The rheumatologist is saying that my severe Raynaud's, which turns my nails white, turns them purple, if I finally get them to heat up again, they're numb for an hour. That severe Raynaud's could be because of the blood pressure medication I'm on. So he gets the cardiologist to change it. When I call the cardiologist to go, it doesn't tell me how or when I'm supposed to take this medication. And I said, you do remember that because of the dysautonomia, we had me on this medication in this way purposely. And he went, oh yeah, that's you. Yeah, okay, no, we can't really do that. And this is happening because they're not speaking. They're like talking to each other through the portals. In order for me to get one cohesive, brain fog, one cohesive plan that will cover things like, what do I do if my blood pressure goes to 171 over 161 again? What do I do if I have issues with, personal issues? And instead of going from symptom to symptom to test to find out that, okay, there's nothing wrong with my heart, but hey, you know what? We think we saw adrenal tumors. Go and have that CAT scan. Oh, that was a false positive. But guess what? We saw that the bottom of your lungs had collapsed. I can't do this anymore. So I have convinced them that they should all get together, do a clinical discussion, and come up with a plan that would help me get to every 6 months and then every year, instead of meeting with them every 3 months, only to have more tests and hear that there's nothing they can do for me. To get a pain protocol in place, and then just let me live my life, as small and tiny as it's getting. I've gone from no problems at all till now I can't drive very far because who knows if I'm going to have a blackout or a blood pressure thing and be an hour away and be on the highway. I used to forage. I forage, but I don't even like it anymore. I have to drive to my foraging trail. I have to not do as much. I can't go as far and I can't go as long and I can't get as much because I'm either going to fall over because I'm, losing my balance. It's too heavy and it exhausts me so much that I just can't do it anymore. I'm going to try not to give up on that because it is something I very much enjoy, and I don't really enjoy a whole heck of a lot in my life. So I'm asking for help. They will continue to talk to each other through the portal, but in order for me to get them to all get together physically and do like a 2-hour clinical discussion, some of them want to be paid. I want to be able to give them something so that they will feel like their time is being paid for and that they will, work hard to come up with a plan for me. In the way of thanking people, I am going to do like a journal, and I'm going to keep everybody up to date on what's going on, what questions are being asked, what tests are being asked, what is going on. I'll try to videotape as many appointments as I can. And this would be a way of other people being able to glean information, maybe give them questions to ask their doctors, to feel like somebody else is out there that's going through something similar, and maybe it'll help people. I'll also be very happy to give my book away, give my products away as a thank you. I don't know how much longer I'm going to be doing the whole product thing and the acorn flour and all that, different story. But I would be happy to give it away as a thank you to anybody who can help me get this done. And so I'm trying to get $1,000 for each one of them. I'm hoping that I can have this set up so they can meet in January. If anybody has any questions, I'm not really sure how the GoFundMe thing does because I'm in the process of doing it while I'm making this video. And I'm allowed to, I will, you can email me, you can find me on Facebook. And I will answer any question as candidly as I possibly can. I am always usually the person who gives the help. I'm not usually the person who asks for help, but I've been going through this for 40 years, and I need to just go whatever the rest of my years are going to be without being afraid that my doctors are annoyed because they can't figure out what's wrong with me and getting dumped. Going from, test to test, being told that I'm not cooperating because I won't take just any old medication. I just want to have an opportunity to have whatever kind of life I can have for as long as I can have it. And in order for that to happen, I need them all to work together, and I need them all to meet to be together, because it's not working them talking to each other through the portal. They're not remembering who I am, and it's just not the most efficient way, and I need this. So I'm asking people to help me, and I'll do my very best to make it worth your while as far as information and whatever else I can do. So thank you very much. And again, if you have any questions, specific questions, just ask me. I will be as forthcoming as I possibly can. Thank you very much.